Hi everyone, I am Burgandi Phoenix.
And I'm Govind Kumar.
And you are watching The Curve, brought to you by
Casting Frontier.
Today we have a very special guest. Please welcome
Carol Lynn Sher.
Thank you.
An agent at CESD in youth and commercial print talent. Can you elaborate for our audience a little more?
Sure. I work in the Los Angeles office of CESD. We have a New York office as well. And I work hand in hand with young talent, children talent, getting them their first jobs into print, commercials, voiceover, moving them up into late night skit shows, TV shows when they're ready. And then we have a staff that handles the lead roles from there. Wow. So I'm the farm team.
Nice.
And I'm happy to help. That's the most fun part of the career, I think, is the beginning and the blossoming part.
Yeah. Speaking of beginning, can you tell us a little bit how you got started in this?
By moving to California, because I graduated in high school in Nebraska, went a few years to college there, and then moved here to go to Cal Poly Pomona. And the first week I was there, I met people who were in the business in a publicity level, and that's when I started talking to actors. They were all on soap operas, General Hospital, and that's what I had been watching in Nebraska. Schedule my classes
watching
around
that on Long Island too.
Everywhere.
Sister.
And those are the first people I met. It was about the first week I was in California, and before the word intern even existed, I started following around the publicists and just helping whatever I could do, because it was exciting. So the next week I was at a fashion show to open a health club, and the next week we were at a party in Hollywood. I'm meeting celebrities. I was literally in 2 weeks into California when I started meeting actors. It was great.
Oh my gosh, that was such a different time, right, in the industry.
It was.
That's so cool. What
think about that.
What are the changes you can say have happened since when you first started here to now?
Wow. Well, the young agent, anyway, we'd drive around these streets of Hollywood and all over to deliver packages, to try and knock on the door and charm our way in and get the actors seen, and eat face to face. Those who would talk to you, those who wouldn't, and it was a different world. There was some casting directors who were very closed off. You'd have to bribe your way in, either with show tickets or champagne or something. There was others who were like, "What do you got? Who do you have? Let's see these people." So it was that was the original agent. You would go find out what they're doing, what their style was, what they liked, and you'd try and match it up.
Wow.
And now everyone's an agent. Everyone is sending their materials out, having their materials seen, and nobody would like to talk.
And so you nurture youth talent, right? And encourage them to their careers. What's advice you have for adult actors? It must be right.
Sure.
That you can see in the children.
What reflects?
Exactly.
Well, I'd say being joyfully present in the room instead of in the room wondering and worrying about every little thing. I hear a lot of fantasies coming out of actors of why they blew it or what was wrong, and it's all this daydream we have in our heads based on fear. But most people are on your side. Yeah. They can only see 30 people. They're praying you're the one. They're really on your side. I'm on your side to get in there, And so most actors think we're judging or limiting them or some way thinking they're not quite it. But we're all. The casting director, the producer are praying that you were the one to bring this character to life, So that's one thing. It's all most people need to it translates. Most people need to flip their script entirely because their self-talk is off the mark.
Wow.
And the one thing I see with a successful actor is they love what they do. Yeah. They love that you are there with them on their side because they want to tell the story. They want to tell the next story, So most actors that are successful that I see have that in common. They're very, eager to be needed, but they're also confident in that the story's good enough. What they can bring to it is good enough. It doesn't have to be perfection of haircut or nose job.
Right.
What they bring is fine.
It's enough. In your career, you must have so many success stories. Are there, anyone you can think of where you're so proud of helping them?
Oh, well, right now, my heart's really soaring because if you open any publication about Hollywood, it's about a little 10-year-old who's taken the world by storm. Yeah. And I've known this little girl, Julia Butters. She's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Tarantino's latest film, and she goes toe-to-toe with Leonardo DiCaprio. And she is a fabulous character as well on American Housewife, playing Anna Cat, this very highly functional, dysfunctional character who's very whack.
How did you? So you encourage like.
I've known her since she was a baby. She became to get representation. Her first job is as on a Razor scooter toy, and so week after week, print job, commercial job. Her mother, fantastic partner in this, and she encouraged her daughter to do all kinds of experimental early self-tapes into a great Criminal Minds when she was really young, and that her mother was instrumental in letting her play the kidnapped victim and have that part created and crafted. So Tarantino had American Housewife on as he was writing his movie, and Anna Cat, the character, Julia Butters, just captured him. So he really tailored this role for her. So
that's impressive. And she's 10. She's 10. That's great. Yeah. And that's so amazing to hear you say, my heart is just soaring right now. I mean, that's like things we don't hear about what our agents, and saying that you're on our team.
Well, you see their dream come true, but it's also you've been rooting for them too.
Yeah.
Every day. And every time that one of our actors that gets close doesn't get the job, we don't get the job. We go through that loss and that victory with you.
And it sounds like she has a team around her. You're like
fantastic.
The people around her, That's always encouraging.
Yes, the owner of the agency always called my report the Julia Butters report, because it was like, and this week here's how it turned out. So yeah,
that's so
sometimes
great.
you really they become part of your heart and soul because you just really, really care for them. So you love their success.
Oh my gosh, and it sounds like you love what you do. So you started in, what year did you start this industry?
In this industry with kids since 95, but I revived to be an agent in the late 80s. And so, starting with adults first. It's small, female-driven agencies at first, and then one of my mentors became the vice president at CESD, and that's when I learned about this agency. So we'd have dinner at Tuesday nights at Ernie's Tacos, and I'd hear all about, I was the small agent, she was the big agency, it's like the difference and the challenges. And so then one day I got to go to the big agency.
And that's really encouraging. I think it's, especially for parents that come here, that have children that maybe want to get in the industry, what would you say is the best way for them to get seen or have their stuff come by your desk?
Well, I think the younger you start, the better, because there is always a need for that next batch. And so just great photos, a sweet written note. We probably get email pitches, but we go to the acting schools and see who the latest batches at Groundlings or at Second City or UCB. We're always, our agency, along with our New York agents, we go to every graduating class of the acting schools that come through. So we are out there interested in the next generation and open to talk to them. So it's not like there's a closed door. We have a very open access. There's people submit info at CESDtalent.com, New York office or LA. It's pretty easy.
I think I was reading something about how you guys you're so open that you make time every week to have new meetings with people. How many submissions would you say do you see easily in a week?
Oh, I think it's not as many as it used to be. And I'm not sure what that is about, but probably there's about 8 emails a day. The mail has gone down to a few a week, so probably 50 a week, I would say, is knocking on the door. Yeah,
that's still great though. I mean, considering
our print division for adults sees people open call every 2 weeks, I think.
Okay.
That could be as many as 30, 50 people will show up for that.
Yeah, that's great. Wow.
So, where could for people who don't know how to find this information, find the listings for open calls for CESD?
Well, CESD New York, I think you would follow their Instagram, CESD Models, and then same thing, we have a CESD Models Instagram for this office. So that's one avenue. Also, we'll post from time to time an open call in New York office. But I think LA, you would just write info at CESDtalent.com and just say I'm interested in coming because it's invitational. And then they have to get invited in.
Got it. Got it. So as an agent, what would you say in recent times are the most major changes? Like self-tapes are huge, right? Right.
That's driven by the compression of the casting process into a very short, either hours or a day instead of several day process. Right. So now gathering the self-tapes or viewing what's already posted precedes the actor into the room. So everyone has to crank these things out within hours or overnight. And when we send out all day long, we're sending out, they'd love to consider you for the project. They need to know, 1, are you available? 2, can you get me some digitals, full body, close-ups, nice smile, showing their personality, something they love doing. So that should just be on hand. Every actor should just have that. And then it could get a lot more specific, where they want them interacting with their product or their message or their script. So have your one personality video, because that's going to be auditioning more than you will. I've now created where we have links and drop boxes for each actor that have, current shots, have current, what's your Instagram handle, and then they have to have these self-tapes, and they have to be well lit, and they have to be turned around fast. And so at least do one that you can control with nice lighting. Then when you have to do the one in the car because it's due in an hour, the lighting won't be as good. They'll still understand because they can see the difference. But it's turned everyone into the camera person, the editor. And I've seen magical self-tapes where a kid for the Kids' Choice Awards put the little Nickelodeon balloon flying through. And she came into frame on a hoverboard. Of course they hired her. So if you use some creativity, have fun with it.
That's good to know.
But they're not going away. So embrace it, get trained on it, and get your materials up. It used to be that people would be going to your website to look at those things. They're either looking at your Instagram now, or they're having it sent from the agent. So they're not even doing that step. They want it.
They want it now, and they want it.
Right here. And they don't think it's a big deal. Just get out a smartphone. Just do this self-tape. And they're like,
it needs
makeup for the ladies is needed,
I need a hoverboard.
And a Nickelodeon bubble now.
Yes, and how do you send it? For some people, they're not that techy, but so it is teachable. But the more you can do, the more you're going to work.
Wow.
Well, you hear that? The more you can do, the more you're going to work.
Oh my gosh. We can't even tell you how much this is such invaluable advice. I hope you guys really pay attention to everything she said. Now, really quickly before we wrap up, do you let people follow you on certain social media handles?
Sure.
So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
I was an early adopter. Agent CESD is my Twitter.
Wow.
CESD Youth Spotlight is our Instagram. And I enjoy it. I think I don't enjoy politics, but I enjoy seeing people out exploring the world, showing me their hobbies and interests.
Living their life, being human. That's good to know.
I really enjoy it.
Well, thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it.
My
this
pleasure.
has been such a great conversation.
Thank you.
And if you guys love what we had to say and she had to say, please comment, like below, follow us, and let us know if you have any questions for her. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.